Now the time has come to talk about abstract classes. And not just abstract classes, we will also talk about abstract methods. And what are they? An abstract class is a class that can't be instantiated. And the class that can't be instantiated is a class from which we can't make any objects. And why would we want to make such a class? Well, its purpose is for other classes to extend it. And then abstract methods are methods in that class that are declared as abstract, and that basically means that you only specify some characteristics of that method, you don't implement it directly, and that's because you expect the classes that extend the abstract class to override those methods. Overriding just means modifying the way a method works in the superclass. Adapt it, to say it like that, to the requirements of the subclass. Okay, now things get complicated, so get ready. This is the abstract class person. Okay? Every person has a name and a gender. These are the fields I want to specify for the class person. Its constructor takes two parameters, one string for the name and one string for the gender. Okay, so here it has an abstract method, the method work. As you see, it's not implemented yet. And next we have the method toString. What does this override means? Well, it means that this method is from a class above this, and I'm rewriting it to adapt it to the needs of person. But I'm not extending any class here. That's because all the classes in Java, every class in Java extends a class called object. So here we have two fields, here we have the constructor, here we have the method, the abstract method work, and here we have the method toString. Now let's visit the class employee. The class employee extends person, but it adds another field called employment ID. The constructor of this class takes three parameters, the name, the gender, and the ID. The name and the gender get set in the superclass person. The parameter ID sets the field ID of this class. Next we have the method work, and I'm overriding it. Why I'm overriding it? Because I'm extending the class person. In the class person, I'm simply saying that in the subclass of person, you must implement a method that is public, it's void, and it's called work. And in the class employee, which stands person, I'm declaring a method which is public, void, and it's called work. And here you can see what it does. If the employment ID is 0, it will print to console not working. In any other case, it will print to console working as employee. Now it's important to notice that all the classes really model something in the real world. This is the class employee, and it's logical that an employee is a person, so extends a person. A person models a person in the real world. Every person in the real world has a gender and a name. So it's important to have that clear. So now let's go to the main method to see all of this in action. In the main method, I'm declaring two objects of the type person, and I'm initializing them as new employees. Why is that? Because an employee is a person, and Java allows me to store an instance of employee inside a variable of the type person. This is called polymorphism. It's just something that you can do. So here I have two objects. Both are instances of employee, and I'm passing to them a name, a gender, and an employee ID. So you know how it works. I'm passing two parameters. Two of them go to the superclass of employee, which is person, and the other gets stored here. So this first parameter and second parameter get passed to the superclass and get stored into these two fields. The other one gets stored into this other field. It's important to have that very, very clear. Now I'm calling the method work on a student, and I'm also calling the method work on employee. The method work, just as I explained before, will print one thing or the other depending on the employee ID. And finally, I'm printing one more thing to console, and that is employee to a string. Employee is this person right here. When I'm calling employee to a string, I have to take into account that this is a person, and the method to string of a person is this right here. So that's it. If I click save and then I click on the run button, I see the result. A student is not working because its ID is 0. Employee is working because its ID is not 0. And then here you can see the method to string applied to the person employee. And that's basically it. If you have any questions, you can send them to me. I hope you practice a lot, and see you in the next lecture.